hooked in the game.
Bukayo Saka confirmed to be out for at least a month with his most recent injury. Now is the time for Arsenal to really show their mettle with one of their best players down. Tonight live, we're from the Emirates as they take on newly promoted Ipswich Town. From today, for at least the next month, we will know Arsenal's true mettle when it comes to the title challenge this season. Early indications show that Bukayo Saka will be out for the next month with an injury to his leg. It is not serious. It is just a real, semi-sprained hamstring, I believe. Something along those lines. But thankfully, it's not too serious. But now, Arsenal must weather the storm with one of their best players out for an extended period. It's going to be not a bad start, Ipswich Town, towards a relegation fight in all seriousness for the table. But there's still going to be another half of the season to play. We're at game 18 now, so it'll be this, and then the next one will be past the halfway stage. And right now, as of this moment, Arsenal top the Premier League table by a point ahead of Manchester City. Now the tide of this title challenge could be heading back to the N5 now. But don't count City out. Don't forget, they still haven't lost all season so far. So taking a look at a bit of a more updated Arsenal side with the injury to Saka. Raya stays in goal, of course. Gabriel and Saliba with Tierney and Tomiyasu today. The midfield is Jorginho and Nwaneri with Moreno. The front three is a change. Gabriel Martinelli comes in for Saka, with Trossard and Alexander Isak completing the lineup. Kieran McKenna's team today. Muric is in goal, with Jacob Graves being the main man. Jack Taylor and Calvin Phillips are a very decent midfield too. George Hurst is preferred up front today, with a lot of... he's preferred up front today. That's what it is. I can't read the lineups quickly enough this season, so I can't really I have to make really kind of snap judgments because this year's lineups are way too fast to actually read. But Kieran McKenna, a very capable manager in his own right, and has done a brilliant job. Even if Ipswich do get relegated this season, they are in a bit of a dogfight. But they were handed a lifeline last weekend. Okay, we had to pause there. We were handed a lifeline last weekend by going into 16th place with Everton in 17th. We sincerely hope that the last season at Goodison Park does not end in relegation for Everton. That would truly be very, very sad indeed. Martinelli has scored already. It's taken 3 minutes, and yet again, it's that man, Gabriel Martinelli, makes it 1-0. No Saka, no problem for now. That's exactly what Arteta will want. Nwaneri makes a start in place of Odegaard today as well. So a couple of youngsters coming back in. And he believes in every one of his players, and they believe in him. And they really will get to show why for this next month or so. And of course, Arsenal still had to face Manchester City in that time 3 times, with apparently, according to some schedule changes, there will be the Premier League match And then there will be the Carabao Cup first leg in the semi-final. And then, if Arsenal progress in the FA Cup, it'll be the FA Cup match against whoever they're drawn at if they beat Manchester United next month. And then it'll be a return leg, the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. So they'll have to face City 3 times in about a week or so. So that's going to be a real telling point for the rest of the season if we're still kind of, in this tight deadlock situation. Isak makes it 2 already, and Ipswich Town are being taken to school. And it's that man again, Alexander Isak, with another goal. He didn't score last time out, but he's made, well, he did. He actually scored a penalty. He didn't score from open play, but he's made that one count. Well, it's a volley, and it's vintage Isak. Just placing it in the corner. Muric, no chance. And, well, if they want to show that even without their best, they can still score with the best, they're really showing it right now. 8 minutes played, Arsenal already up by 2-0. Well, Ipswich, they already had a mammoth task just coming in to this match, and now it's being made even tougher. Here's Taylor. Given away by Taylor to Martinelli. Well, they haven't lost Isak, so that's the good news for Mikel Arteta. He's not lost his top goal scorer, who's climbing the ranks. I think he is the Premier League's top scorer now, and if he keeps scoring at the rate he's at, he could be beating a Premier League record set by Erling Haaland, I believe, a couple of seasons ago with 36. Isak is steadily climbing to that number. Here's Taylor. Here's Del Blanco. Here's Davis. Davis, wonderful play. But Tomiyasu doesn't let that go unwarranted, as it were. Here's Wanyeri. Picks out Isak. Great interplay here. And Muric makes a save that time. And now with Saka out, Moreno is on corner duty, at least on the left end for this one. Over the corner. Muric gathers that one up. And of course, next month as well, Arsenal have the final 2 games of their Champions League phase. Now, a win against Fenerbahce and Jose Mourinho would seal it for Arsenal. It would seal a top 8 spot, which may give an opportunity for their youngsters to maybe get a run out against Celtic in the final game of the league phase. Now, if Arsenal were to win that match and lose Roberto Neto in the process when he gets recalled back to Bournemouth, because that's the big rumour at the moment. Neto has done so well that Bournemouth actually want to recall him back, possibly. Could we see an appearance then of youngster Daniel Jenkins as an Arsenal goalkeeping substitute for the rest of the season? And will he play against Celtic if that position is secured? It'll be quite interesting to see how he performs in a big stage like that. But Arteta has been known to trust his young core in big match situations, and they've all come through this season. So that's certainly not out of the realms of possibility for young Daniel Jenkins to get a call-up soon. I think it's Jennings, actually, but it will be certainly a night to not forget for him. Tapped into Hurst. Davis. Hurst again. Like boy Jorginho. And pulled out there by cleared there by Saliba. Davis did a bit of a spin as he went for that throw. That was rather humorous. Arsenal's looking tremendously comfortable right now. Now, they are the hunted as opposed to the hunters, after overtaking Manchester City in the table. It's hard to tyranny. And if it stays like that, that Premier League matchup in January could decide the season. Martinelli with this header. It's wide. That is probably going to be the most telling match of the season. And if it goes Arsenal's way, they'll pull up to a 4-point lead if that's the case now. And really, judging on their season, that could really be the only bump in the road. Maybe the second match against Bournemouth could prove a problem, because that's one where Arsenal actually didn't score a goal. And the only one they haven't scored in a goal in all season. They've scored in everyone else. Into Davies. Picked down by Martinelli. Here is Isak. And I think it was Wanyeri there who was offside. Well, Ethan Wanyeri could be a name that Arsenal fans will want to remember for quite some time. A lot of praise about him and hype about it. This young man at the moment. Jack Henry Francis certainly had his moment against Manchester United. He scored against Everton as well. Tackled there by Saliba again. Martinelli. Wanyeri. And look, Ipswich are asleep. And Alexander Isak has got to score. He should have taken it more in. Martinelli. Arsenal in complete command of this one. And here is Leandro Trossard. And he tried to bend it round. But it didn't go round for him. Well, speaking of David Raya, Arsenal, for the final game of this half of the season, will go to the G-Tech Community Stadium to face Brentford, which could be a very interesting matchup, since David Raya was on loan there just a season or so back. Now, he's Arsenal's number one. It's amazing how much being in an Arsenal shirt has certainly upped the trajectory of David Raya's career. Certainly didn't look altogether at it at Crystal Palace for the goal he conceded, but he saved the rest. And that was his first only real mistake of the season. And unfortunately for him, that was after a stunning save that he made. Here's Moreno with the corner. And it's out to Saliba. And I think the referee is signaling another corner. Well, last season on the final day, this Emirates crowd, I think they were away that day. No, I think they were home, and unfortunately, some of the misses couldn't go. That was really unfortunate, but it would have ended in sadness anyway, because Arsenal couldn't clinch the league, but it came very close. This year, they're actually top of it. Now, they were top of it last season, and some say they kind of threw it away on their own accord. I don't think that was the case. They definitely lacked striking options. They don't do that this season, so now they have to make sure that that was the case. And they didn't lose it by their own accord. Because a lot of people seem to forget that over the last two seasons, no one really gave Arsenal a sniff in this title race. And I've always said over the last couple of seasons that you can't lose what you weren't really in contention for in the first place. Arsenal shocked the football world by being in contention in the last two seasons. And now here's Isak. Put it in, 3-0. And if they do win the league this season, it'll be mostly all down to that man right there. Alexander Isak with another goal. He's just putting them in for fun now. Martinelli, who scored a lot of goals in his time this season, gave it to Isak. A much more preferred option there. And Isak was not altogether having his balance, but that's the greatness, well, definitely the talent, goal-scoring talent that Alexander Isak possesses. And Arsenal are up by 3-0, and Ipswich don't really look like doing much outside of, well, maybe scoring a consolation, quite honestly. So, that is Alexander Isak's 15th goal this season, with still another half to play. That 36 competition record could be, and Wanyeri! Oh my word, that almost went in. He saw the keeper off his line. And that is gutting. I think Muric might have been alright, but that was still a wondrous attempt nonetheless. Arsenal looking in complete command of this one yet again. It's another vintage day for Arsenal this season. So, goal number 15 for Alexander Isak now. The competition record is 36 or 37, which I believe was set by Erling Haaland a couple of seasons back. And if Isak beats that, then Arsenal probably do win the league. Taylor. The league is the one that Arsenal fans want after coming so agonisingly close over the last 2 seasons. 5 and 4, or 4 or 5 and 1 point respectively. Now Arsenal want to make sure they seal the deal this time around. They've got to do it without Saka for a while. But so far, it's been no problem. Here's Davis. By Tomiyasu, and out for a throw. And Ipswich really don't look like scoring, do they? They really don't know what to do with the ball when they get into the attacking third. They're pushed back by Arsenal's relentless pressure. Taylor has gone very much past the 3-minute mark here. He finally gets it and clears it away. And that is the end of another dominating first half for Arsenal, as they're up by 3-0 and looking incredibly comfortable here. But they're not getting complacent. We've always said that when they get into a comfortable position, they stay intensive on defence, and we expect more from that. Martinelli and Isak may have sealed the game already. Arsenal 3, Ipswich Town 0. Welcome back to the Emirates for the second half, as the first half of the Premier League season is coming to a very rapid close. We have 2 games left, and we have a new leader at the top in terms of Arsenal after last week's results. Jurrien Timber has come on for, I think it was Saliba. And Arsenal currently have a 3-0 lead against Ipswich Town as they continue to win and continue to score, really, which is the most important factors right now. But keeping another clean sheet with David Raya was certainly not going to miss. He certainly should have had one against Crystal Palace, in which was Arsenal's toughest game this season, really, by some chalk. And it's because of been results like they're having right now. Ipswich haven't really looked like scoring in this game. It's been all Arsenal in that first half. Took the goals and never looked back. And now Martinelli. He could score a 4th here. Muric saves it. Alexander Isak's 2 goals have put him on 15 for the season as he tries to close in on that Premier League all-time scoring record of 36 set by Erling Haaland a few seasons back, when he just seemed could not stop scoring. Isak is having pretty much the same form now, to be fair. Well, just before the New Year's celebrations on the 30th, Ipswich Town, it doesn't get any easier for them. They'll be taking on Chelsea from home next. The tackle by Jorginho. Martinelli. Stone makes the tackle. Martinelli gets up, thankfully. So don't want any more injuries. They've already got Kai Havertz out for an extended period of time. He won't be back till at least the end of January. Saka will probably be the middle of January when he's expected to mostly return. Blanco. Well, you've got to give Ipswich credit. People were ready. Oh, that was an interesting attempt there by Davis, but you've got to give Ipswich some credit. Everyone was pretty much giving them a shoe-in to go down immediately at the bottom and probably rival Derby County's overall scoring record from 2004, I believe, when they scored barely 10 points. But they're actually doing better. They're actually in 16th. Now, they're not altogether safe. The relegation battle is very tight-knit this year. At the top, Arsenal and Manchester City are starting to break away after Ipswich Town grabbed a vital win against Newcastle United just last time out. And that's made Eddie Howe's team lose grip on the top two for a bit. So they need more results to go their way now. And with Arsenal, it doesn't look like going anyone's way but theirs at the moment, with all the scoring they're doing. Graves. Johnson. They really don't know how to break this Arsenal defence down, Ipswich Town. They're just content on passing it around amongst themselves. Jorginho has picked the ball clean there. Now, he finds Isak. Isak plays over the top to Ethan Nwaneri. He's put it in! Another stunning goal. Ethan Nwaneri gets another. And like I said, we'll be hearing a lot more of this boy in the future. Well taken goal. A beautiful pass from Alexander Isak. The scoring machine comes to the assist. Beautiful control by Nwaneri. Wonderfully controlled shot. Nothing the keeper could do. Arsenal's present is focused on getting this league title. Arsenal's future is this kid. And Martin Lewis-Skelly as well. Those two have performed particularly well, and add Raig to the mix as well. Brilliant central defender with tremendous upside. And like we've mentioned a couple of times, Daniel Jennings in goal could be getting a run in Arsenal's shirt a lot sooner than he expected, because Roberto Neto is pretty much all but confirmed to be returning to Bournemouth because he's performed so well. Now, he's not featured in the last 10 games or so, but his role was never to replace David Raya, just be a good backup to him. And Jennings would actually fit that role very well, and that actually works, I believe, in Arsenal's favour somewhat as well. Oh, that's Tomiyasu who's gone down. And we could be looking at another card here. We've had a lot of them this season. It's a straight red for Jacob Graves. He's off now. More red cards in Arsenal's coverage this season. They just make it so easy, don't they? But I think it's just the way Arsenal relentlessly attack. And Jeff Hurst has gone off as a result. Tomiyasu seems okay and back to his feet. Another sending off in a broadcast this season. The latest, Jacob Graves of Ipswich Town. And Hurst went off for Birds in a substitution. Well, it's 4-0 to Arsenal now, and Ipswich have just made a difficult task even harder. Phillips to De Blanco. Hutchinson. Tackle by Moreno. You're in Timber to Moreno again. Moreno picks up Trossard. Isak is on the run, he's with him. And here he is, Alexander Isak. Has to cut in and then probably get the ball to Nwaneri, it looked like, for another goal for him. Here is Taylor. Here is Calvin Phillips, formerly of Manchester City, I believe. Blanca. Johnson. Ipswich just don't look like scoring, do they? They really don't feel like they can score. Oh, and there's confusion between Gabriel and I think it was Timber. And that is the first meaningful chance that Ipswich have created all night long so far. Delap is going on for De Blanco. Not sure why Delap didn't start the game, to be fair. Very highly rated amongst Ipswich Town supporters. Phillips and Jorginho, and it's going to be handball against Jorginho. He did try his best not to handle the ball. Ipswich free kick. Here's Taylor. Davis. And now come forward Arsenal again. Johnson trying to get the ball off Trossard. He did. Hutchinson. Davis. Phillips. Johnson. Ipswich just, they don't look like scoring. Taylor. Taylor gets around Jorginho. Here is the lap. I think Ipswich are really just looking for a way to break this Arsenal defence down, and they're not finding it. Arsenal have been actually stellar in their pressing game. Jumping to Phillips. That was a bit more of a forward intent. Now here's the lab. Chaplin is snuffed out by Gabriel. And Arsenal have the ball back. Yeri can pick out Isak. Was he offside? No. Isak and Arsenal play on. Moreno. Good save by Muric, and Martinelli is there again. He always comes up with the goods this season. It's 5-0 to Arsenal. And they have been absolutely rampant today. Moreno with a great strike. Muric with a good save, but nothing he could do about the rebound from Martinelli. Arsenal, the great poachers this season. A lot of the Gunners have come from that kind of situation. Martinelli is the latest. And he has definitely got his this season. And Arsenal have certainly got theirs. Arsenal 5, Ipswich Town 0. Still with 10 men and just over 10 minutes left to play. And Ipswich's struggles really are mounting. That gives it away to Trossard. Well, the match against Crystal Palace certainly was a bit of a slog for Arsenal, but today not so much. They're back to their best, even without Saka. And this will give Arsenal fans belief and hope that they can cope without him for a while. The space Moreno has. Can he pick out Isak for goal number 16 and a hat-trick today? Nope. Isak misses again. And he's already got 15 for the season. Probably Moreno would have been better off taking that on himself. Defendants found Davis. Taylor. Jack Henry, Francis and Reece Nelson are warming up for Mikel Arteta for the final 6 minutes or so of the game. Trossard clears it so it can happen. And it looks like it's going to be one youngster for another as Wanyeri is making way. And for Arsenal, I think it's Martinelli who's making way for Trossard. Nelson, sorry. And another day and another appearance in an Arsenal shirt for young Jack Henry Francis, who had spent quite some time of it lately. Well, David Raya has not really had a lot to do. It's a clean sheet he will certainly take, given that he probably should have had one against Crystal Palace. I think it's he and Nick Pope that are in the running for the Golden Glove Award so far this season. Because Newcastle had a stellar start, but sadly, I think their title challenge is starting to fizzle out. And City and Arsenal have been so relentless that I think that was probably always going to happen. Isak. Nelson. Burns. Now he's found Trossard, and he's away. Burns tackles. Here's Phillips. And there's 5 minutes of added on time. But if we could add 10 and Arsenal would win. He said that a lot. It's always the truth. And Ipswich just don't look like scoring. It has been all Arsenal in this game. Ipswich have rarely looked a threat, if at all. It's been a poor game from them, to be fair. Seems to be just no real belief that they can even score, let alone get a result. And something Kieran McKenna is definitely going to have to install some belief into this team, because it really looks like they don't have any. They looked almost scared to try and get forward. Maybe they can't because of Arsenal's relentless pressing, but it's not that they're pressing hard and forcing mistakes. They're really just sitting back and letting Ipswich play, to be honest, because Ipswich aren't really playing. Jorginho gets the ball. And it's almost like the belief has been sucked out of this Ipswich team tonight. And they've really just waved the white flag, and Arsenal duly accept it. 5 goals to the winners. It was over by half-time. And it was Wanyeri and I believe Isak that got the last 2 goals. Ipswich just didn't look like scoring. Didn't look like getting anything. David Raya had an easy time of it today. Another Arsenal cruise-like performance. And if it keeps going like this, Arsenal will certainly take it to a league title. Arsenal winning here, and it never looked in doubt. Arsenal 5, Ipswich Town 0. So let's take a look at all the other scores and what that means for the table. Manchester City 3, Everton 1 in a bounce-back win. Newcastle United also bounced back with a 1-1 draw, though. Bournemouth 1, Palace 2, Nottingham Forest 0, Spurs 2, Chelsea 1, Fulham 1, Southampton 0, West Ham United 3, Wolves 2, Manchester United 3, and finally Ruben Amorim gets a win on the board. Liverpool 3, Leicester City 1, and Brighton 1, Brentford 2, and I believe Arsenal 5, which was the last score of the day. It was. So Arsenal still hold on to a 1-point lead. Newcastle United lose a further couple of points now. They're 6 points behind the leaders, but have a 6-point gap to Liverpool behind them. Spurs and Liverpool continue to fight for that 4th spot. Brentford could be in with a shot if they get a result against Arsenal next time out, which doesn't sound likely. Manchester United's first win, probably under Ruben Amorim at all, finally gets them out of the 11th and up to 8th now, behind Chelsea though. Villa dropped to 9th and Bournemouth dropped to 10th. West Ham move up to 11th now with their win over Southampton. Brighton now 12th. Leicester City 13th. 14th would be Fulham then. 15th still Nottingham Forest. 3 points behind them. Ipswich, despite losing, are now out of the relegation places ahead of Crystal Palace once again on goal difference and 2 points. Everton fall into the relegation zone, sadly, with Southampton and Wolves completing it. We hope for Everton this doesn't spell relegation at the end of May.